So I've got this photo of me. I'm 16, maybe 17 years old, and I'm standing next to my first car. It's a Chevy Chevette. And before anybody says anything, yes, I know what a Chevette is. Just let me finish. The car had a Starsky and Hutch stripe down both sides, and I genuinely believe that stripe had something to do with that car that just made it something you just had to have. That stripe definitely was recognizable, and it was a standard shift 4-speed, and when you ran through those gears, the car felt fast. But let me tell you, it wasn't fast. But when you're 16, with your first set of keys in your hand and a stripe down both sides of the car, well, that was enough. And then there's the outfit. Oh my, this is where things go south. I'm standing there in a pair of skids. And if you don't know what skids are, just picture pants that ballooned out from top to bottom, then gathered up at the ankle with an elastic band. And I had put that whole look together intentionally, on purpose, without thought. And I'm pretty sure I had loafers on with no socks. Let that sink in. I remember looking in the mirror before I walked out the door and thinking, yeah, this is it. This is the one. Full confidence, no hesitation. I walked out of the house like the version of myself I had been working toward had finally arrived. And that photo exists as permanent evidence that it had not. Every time I see it, I think, what was happening in my head that day? But the honest answer is I wasn't putting on a show. I wasn't trying to be somebody I wasn't. I genuinely thought that was just me. That was Matt. Stripe on the Chevette, skids, loafers, no socks. That was the guy. And I think everybody's got a version of that photo. Some purchase you made, some look you put together, some move you pulled that you were completely confident you were going to land, and it did not land. But in that moment, you were all in because you weren't being fake. You were just a little ahead of yourself. That's tonight. We're going through all of it. The things we did to look cool that absolutely did not work. And nobody at this table is getting out clean. If this is your first time here, I'm Matt. This is Kevin. And this is Vito. Welcome to Earned Air. So, what you got, guys?
Well, me, like I said, I'm a little bit older than you guys. You know, back in the day, we used to go out, and when we went out, got dressed up nice, you know. Well, we used to wear suits back in the day. And this was like, 20-some years ago. And Men's Warehouse. I don't know you guys know remember that store. But, okay, before that, it was called Christian St. John's, before it changed over to Men's Warehouse. Very elaborate, very high-end, exclusive men's clothing store. So I went in there, was getting a suit, and I looked at this suit. I thought it was sharp. I mean, it was rust brown. It looked like poop brown and had the black velvet collars. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was like 4-button. It was that style. It was 3-piece. And I had suede pointy shoes that went with it, black.
Black shoes?
Black. And I mean, if you look at it, back then, yeah, it kind of looked sharp. It was like that back in that day, that was like odd colors was like big, but today, oh hell no, I wouldn't be wearing that suit. I wore that suit once.
You know when you can wear it? You pull it out on Halloween.
I wore that suit once and it was gone. I gave it away.
Oh, you don't even have it. I thought you said you still had it.
No, it's gone. It was like it was back then. Yeah, it was like, okay. I remember at that time I was dating my wife. She goes, "Where was your?" She didn't like it back then. She goes, "Where's your head?" I go, "You don't know how to dress." I told her. I says, "This is in style. This is this color's in." No, it ain't. And it was. I mean, thinking about it now, I know it wasn't.
You wear that suit in Youngstown, they probably called you Donna Vito, huh?
Pimp. It was like pimping.
You've been part of that tune-up club.
But I'm not kidding you. But back then, that was the thing. That was the thing. It was like, you think about the colors that they wore back then.
It was all pastels.
Yeah, you wouldn't be wearing that. No, this was like fall, like a fall, color. Fall winter color. There ain't no way I would wear that suit. I wouldn't even. I think about that. Where was my head at? I was like, there ain't no way. I'm like, man, I just like. I'm thinking to myself, what was you thinking? I mean, seriously, what was you thinking? I'm like, nah.
Well, when you see the picture that I described here in the beginning, which I don't know when I'm going to post that picture during this recording, but I will put it up. But when you see these pictures, if Vito's got any pictures of what he's going to talk about, you're going to be like, oh.
Yeah, but kind of falls for your outfit. MC.
Well, it was like, back in the day.
MC Hammer.
Yeah, right. It was MC Hammer. you can watch MC Hammer videos, and I think I could have been an extra in that.
Oh man,
without a doubt.
Eminem before Eminem.
Right.
That's funny.
So what you got, Kev? How do you beat those two?
I think I might, but I remember it was my senior pictures, and back then, we were probably same era, but we talked about Pepe and Jabot jeans and Guess jeans and all that. I remember senior picture, I was messing around a little bit, and I thought, well, this is going to be cool. So I had the Pepe jeans pegged, rolled up, and then I had the long sleeve Ralph Lauren button-up polo, the long sleeve button-up polo collars, and then I had the leather Colorado boots. I don't know if you guys remember those. Like they were like a six eyelet lace up boot, like a leather boot, like a chukka boot. Yeah. And I had those.
Like a high top?
Kind of like a 3/4 top. I can find a picture of those. Those were my pride and joy. I wore those everywhere. I mean, if you didn't have, you could add the peg pants and the shirt, but if you didn't have the boots to go with it, then that was it. Yeah. But I remember going to get my senior pictures. This is where it gets interesting. So I went through like 3-4 hours. My mom was adamant about making sure I had, the right pictures and stuff like that. And I remember I came home from the session, and, we took some cool stuff. And it was about a week later, I was wearing that same outfit, but I decided that, I don't know if you guys remember, but remember when you had the magnetic earrings?
I remember.
You remember those?
Yeah.
So I put a magnetic stud in my ear.
You didn't actually go get the
I didn't get it pierced because I remember my dad was
I got the piercing.
My dad wasn't. I got my piercings later on, but I'll never forget. I put the diamond stud in, and I was getting ready to go out with a bunch of my friends. And this is probably like a Wednesday or Thursday night. I remember it vividly. Dad come home from work. We got done eating and stuff like that. I got all dressed up. It was probably about 6 o'clock at night, getting ready to go out, and I, put the magnetic earring in, and my dad looks at me and goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going out with some friends." He goes, "No, you're not." And I said, "Well, Dad, I got going out with some friends. We made plans and stuff like that." He goes, "No, you're not." He goes, "You and I are going for a ride." I said, "Oh boy, not good, right?" Now, remember, my dad was Navy, 36 years Navy. So, yeah.
Did you think it was about the earring?
I didn't know what it was about until I found out, we hopped in the car. He did not tell me where we were going. Did not tell me where we were going whatsoever.
Oh, shit.
So, get in the car, and we lived in a little town in South Dakota, and Sioux Falls was probably about 15, 20 minutes away. So, we're driving, and he gets off on the exit where the mall's at. I'm like, okay. So, we go in, and we go to Penny's. Going into Penny's, walk into Penny's with my dad, thinking, okay, maybe he's didn't like the clothes I was wearing, so we're going to get something new. Lo and behold, my dad took me over to the women's section. My dad bought me a bra, he bought me a dress, and he bought me shoes. Didn't know what was going on? I'm thinking he's buying stuff for mom, right? So we come home and stuff like that, and we sit down. He didn't say a word to me the rest of the night. Got up the next morning, and he was on the phone with somebody the night before, the night that we went and got all the stuff. And I'm like, So I'm like, okay. So I get up the next morning, and my dad did not go into work that day. My dad made sure that I left the house with the shoes, with the bra, and the dress. And he goes, your principal's expecting you. I'm teaching you a lesson. He goes, you want to look like a girl, then I'm going to dress you like one. I had to wear a dress, a bra, and the shoes the whole day in school. Throughout the whole entire day, was not allowed to take it off, was not allowed to go change until I got done with school and I had to go to practice. Now, you want to talk about something that was humiliating, embarrassing.
That kind of went.
Okay, how old were you when this happened?
18 years old.
Wow.
Holy shit.
18 years old. I'm under his roof. It's his rules still, right? But I thought, I'm 18. I can do whatever I want. So I don't know if I don't think my mom ever took a picture of me in that dress.
Oh boy, that would have been a picture.
But
Oh, man.
I remember my brother, because I was a senior in high school. My brother was a freshman. And yeah, not good.
Well, I thought my skids and standing next to a Chevette with Starsky Hutch
I
stripes
think
was
you topped us.
winner.
By a lot.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
Man.
that's a pretty vivid thing that sticks in my head as far as when I thought I was really cool, but I was for a day, but the next day I wasn't.
And this was all because you had the earring in.
Right.
But
And I tried to tell him that it was just magnetic, that it wasn't permanent. He goes, I don't care.
Yeah. Like, did you have an opportunity to explain? Like,
I didn't.
it was
No,
a joke. Yeah, it was a magnet.
no.
So back in my day,
Oh,
you wore
wow.
an earring. They would class you as a Tinkerbell.
Well, after I got out,
Yes. In your day, yes. Our day, it was what the
no,
left
that
ear,
was
right?
that was
it was the left.
but
ear.
see, when I got to college,
both you were.
when I got to college, I played college baseball, junior college baseball. Now, when I got to college, junior college baseball, junior college coach did not allow me to have. We were like the Yankees. No facial
hair.
no long hair, no earrings. You could wear your earrings outside of practice, but that was a funny instance too, because we had a guy, I remember his name, Matt Haiti, was from Rifle, Colorado, had an earring in his left ear. Always came to practice, always forgot to take the damn thing out. And it was probably like the second or third week of practice in college.
Oh.
But back then it didn't matter. But head coach went up to him. He goes, I told you to take the earring out. Went up to the kid and took the earring and just yanked it right out of his ear. Tore his earlobe, everything. And everybody knew that he meant business. But I got out of junior college 2 years later, went and played ball up at Metro State in Denver. And it was like the end thing. So I was double pierced on this
It was
side.
probably more in for you,
Right.
than for me. Even though we're just a couple years apart,
Right.
Like we tested the waters
Right.
as guys. Didn't last long for me.
No.
I got my ear pierced, and I might have worn a cross for a while, and then I went to a hoop, and then it just went away.
I had a loop and a stud in this ear, and then I had a loop in this ear.
Oh, you did? You ended up doing both?
Both. Oh yeah.
Okay, I never did
Yeah,
both.
I did both.
I
And
never
believe
did
me,
both.
when I came home during the summertime, they came out because I was not going to have my dad take me through that process again. But
Wow.
yeah, after my senior year, that's when I just said, this ain't worth the hassle and stuff like that, being around that. So
No.
Yeah, that wasn't on your radar.
No.
No.
But with the Italian parents, I'd have been crucified if I
Right.
came home
So-
with an earring.
But yeah, that would have been way out the norm for you guys.
Oh,
but
big.
what was something in your time that would have been comparable to us guys putting in an earring? What would have been maybe something that you guys tested the waters on?
It was an earring because you.
No,
like I
no,
said-
that doesn't have to be an earring.
Yeah,
Anything. Like something that you guys did that just kind of wasn't a norm for guys to do, but you guys did it.
Perms.
There you go. I knew there had to be something.
Perm. Yeah.
There you go.
The more I thought about that was like remember they had that one style business up front, party in the back, the mullet.
yeah,
All right. Well, back in my day was like towards the end of the 70s, approaching 80s, was curly hair.
Did you ever do it?
Did.
Oh, you got to.
I don't have a
picture of that.
Yeah, but I had long hair. You know, I did have long hair because I remember when I did it. You know, when I did it, I went to Italy. That's when I went to Italy for 4.5 months. So when I came back, I was like all tanned up, and you know, I was in my front yard, and I had this long hair, all curly and stuff like that. Well, a distant cousin lived across the street. He goes, "Hey, get the F out of yeah, that's my cousin's house." And I'm like, you know, like that. He didn't see my face. And he's coming over there. He grabbed my short. He turned around. He goes, "Holy shit." He goes, "What the hell?" I mean, I had this long curly hair. I mean, it was a stop. Now, think about it now. No.
So
big fan, no.
So you had the perm, right? You
Oh, yeah.
actually went and sat down.
Oh, yeah. I
and
had
got
the
perm.
got
I
perm.
did too.
I
That
did-
was actually something
That was
Third
like,
grade, I had one.
yeah, that was like
third
the
grade.
And you know what happened when my dad called me? Harpo.
Oh, dude, it's funny you say that because my family that's listening to this, that you said Harpo. That was my grandfather Chismar. That was his nickname at Steel Door. They called him Harpo
Oh, wow.
because I think he had curly hair
Yep,
back then.
Harpo Marx.
They called him Harpo.
But I had, when I was a young kid, you know, when I was small, my mom and dad told me the story. I had blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
As an Italian, you have blonde hair.
Yeah. You remember, I don't know if you guys do, but the actress Shirley Temple?
Yeah.
All right, you remember her?
Yeah.
All right. She had that curly hair. I had hair like that. And, you know, my mom used to take me somewhere and they always say, "Oh, you got a pretty little girl." Because there ain't no little girl. My dad got sick and tired hearing it, got in the chair, you know, I mean, buzzed it. And I had buzzed hair. And then it went from blonde to light brown, dark brown, then black. My hair is black, pitch black.
Yeah, from third grade on. I remember I got that perm. It lasted all of about 3 months. And my father was sick of seeing it because, like I said, military, right? So my brother and I, from probably third grade on, my brother younger because he's 3 years younger than me, we always had flat top haircuts. Always.
I've never had one of them. I was wanting to try one.
Always a flat top haircut. It was
did.
all.
I do that now.
I could probably pull it off
Yeah,
now. but
never.
kid.
And I think even when I was in high school, I still got away with, you know, a military style cut where I, you know, kind of combed it forward and pushed it up a little bit, but the sides and sideburn level had to be top of the year. Military issue. Yeah.
You know what? Wait a
Military
minute.
issue.
You know,
No sideburns.
talking about signbirds.
The chops.
I could do that.
Yeah.
When the time comes,
that
you
was
shave this
you know
off.
that was the style. You know, you had it came down like a point and go. I mean, the long ones.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, that was
Mutton
and
chops.
and then the mustache. I was proud to have a mustache because my wife says, "Oh no," she goes, "I don't like it," but I had to shave it when I started working down the mill at North Star, and he said it's not permitted to have facial hair. We used to call it the Earl. That was the name of it, the Earl Flynn. That pencil. Oh yeah, pencil won't come down. It just and you be in front of that mirror.
You didn't fling it out, did you?
No, it's Earl Flynn.
Corner to corner.
Yeah, it came down like this, real thin.
Right.
Okay.
So, and that was the thing. You know, that was like back in the 70s. Mind you, being Italian, I started shaving when I was 12. And when I started shaving, listen, it wasn't with the razor, you know, like regular razor.
Straight edge.
It was straight edge
Blade.
with the belt.
Yep.
That's how I learned how to shave with that. Not
Me too.
go
You're not far off.
do that now. No, I mean it went from that to then they had the one that you turn
the dial and it brought the blade out. That's my father-in-law still uses.
Either put a Gillette or a Schick blade in
Yep.
there. You know, you used to buy the blades and they had the cartridge. You just push it with your thumb. The blade came out. You slide on there and you turn it in. You have to get a towel because you could cut yourself.
Oh yeah.
You tighten it up. Then they had the ones that opened up like a wing doors. It goes like this, you know, and then you drop the blade in, the handle, you close it, and then you shave with that thing was heavy. I don't care what anybody says. You cut yourself all the time.
Absolutely, you did.
But back then, to do that pencil mustache, you're over there in front of the mirror. I mean, to get ready. I mean, I start getting ready at 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock.
To go out what time?
I leave the house at 10:30.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's when the party started.
But I had to watch.
Got ready early, man.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, it lasted a little bit long because back in the day, I was watching my two favorite shows, Dallas and Miami Vice. It was like, I had to watch them because it was like, you know, because that trend of wearing suits changed. It went to different outfits, you know, like the Miami Vice look.
We had the look. We had the clothes and the hairstyles. And now you're watching TV shows. Now you're trying to emulate people that you're seeing on TV. So you liked Miami Vice and Dallas. So out of that era, what was your style of clothes that you just had to have to try and emulate those shows?
Tying shoes, guaranteed, loafers, no socks. And it was these like baggy pants.
Stinky feet.
Yeah, baggy pants. And then I remember this one year, it was polka dots.
Ooh.
Was like big. And I was going on a date with this girl from Hillsville, and I had to go pick her up. So, and at that time, I was driving my 1977 Grand Prix, two-tone, cream and chocolate. So I'm wearing these white baggy pants, white loafers, no socks, then navy blue shirt, short sleeve, that rayon, you know, that like silk rayon type of material with the white polka dots. And I had jewelry on. I looked like a freaking drug dealer.
And you don't have any pictures of that.
No, I mean, it was I'm pulling up this house and it was like a big party going. I go, oh, what you own? You know, like, you know, I just say, and the guy looking at me and I go, yeah, can I help you? I says, hey, I'm looking for the Colucci residence. He goes, you found it. I'm like, there's a big party over there. I said, oh, okay. And I says, I come to pick Sandy Colucci up for a date. He goes, oh, my sister. And then he tells the little girl, he said, hey, go get Aunt Sandy. And then I'm like, well, okay. I end up having to meet the whole freaking family. But when they looked at me, you know, the way I was dressed, they looked at me like who the hell is this guy? They look like a drug dealer.
What about you, Kevin? What'd you try and emulate?
Oh,
we're kind of close. I mean, let's see where you hit here.
Actually, I mean, I don't know. It was really weird. I mean, for me, we got into an era with cardigan sweaters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was talking to me about cardigans.
Cardigan sweaters, but I
didn't do that.
I think I was into more like that show Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I think
big.
like Zach Morris or AC Slater. I think, you know, definitely was not going to dress like Scrooge, but you know, but yeah, no, I think that's where I kind of was. I think I was kind of there, and then I remember. I think the Bahama shirts, you know, the Bermuda shirts is what we call it. And when Bermuda shirt,
Tommy Bahamas.
Yeah, well, Bermuda shirts and shorts were huge, like the board shorts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I remember it was a competition, you know, between me and probably three of the guys. If you guys are watching tonight, you remember those days. But we used to try to, every Thursday or Friday, we used to try to find out the wildest, you know, Bermuda shirt, and we would, you know, just throw it on.
That was a fad. It was the fad. I mean, even like you said with the cardigans, that was a big fad.
Yeah.
Well, the cardigans kind of. I didn't do the cardigans. At least I don't think I did. Maybe I did, but I don't remember.
Not even with the turtleneck.
I did the turtleneck.
Was it a real turtleneck?
Oh, it was. I know.
It wasn't the Dickie.
It wasn't the Dickie. It wasn't the Dickie. It was a real turtleneck. Okay, but I remember getting this white leather coat. that only buttoned up like maybe 5 buttons and left this whole space open here.
Busboy.
That's what I wore. Like
Was it waist cut?
Yeah, it was a waist cut.
Yeah, that's busboy leather jacket. That was
It
big.
It
yeah.
was white, man. I thought I was just shit wearing that, man. Driving my little Chevette.
Oh, that was in the 70s when Saturday Night Fever came out with John Travolta, and he did that infamous walk.
Yeah.
You know, carrying the two.
I just sent you a reel. of that.
the 2 paint cans, and he's wearing the burgundy one.
Yeah.
And then the other movie was Shaft, and he wore the 3/4 cut, long leather coat. And I still got the 3/4 cut one. I don't have the waist cut one. I still have it, burgundy color. I still have it.
I don't have my white.
And that was the
coat.
fad. That was the fad. And back in the 70s, there was platform shoes.
Yeah.
Man, that was a bitch to walk
Remember
in.
starter jackets?
Yeah.
Remember the pullover?
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
pullover starter
Yeah, I
jackets
had a Cowboys one.
and
I
the
couldn't
leather
wait to
hats.
Get it.
The black leather hats. Yeah, that was. I remember my first starter jacket was a Phoenix Suns.
Mine was
Because my-
Steelers.
my-
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, my
Steelers.
uncle reported.
I love that
from-
jacket.
Yeah, oh, it had the pockets right here. Had the hood. Had the zipper.
Steelers.
Zipper
Man, it was
over.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yep.
but how didn't you wear the hell out of your Letterman's jacket? I know I wore the hell
I
out
did.
of my Letterman's
I did
jacket.
because I lettered in 8th grade. I actually participated in a regional track meet, and I was asked to come onto the high school team. Me and another kid, a 4x800 relay, and we placed in the regional. That allowed us to letter. So I had my Letterman's jacket, beginning of my freshman year because
I didn't get mine until my sophomore year, but I wore the hell out of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the only jacket I pretty much had. I know I still have that. That's actually at my house still.
Yeah, I got mine.
So
Mine's still in there.
yeah,
But I mean, that was the fad. You know, I mean, that it was, and then like it evolved like from 7, and you had to wear tight pants, bell bottoms.
That's something.
Hey, and
They say things come around full circle, and I'm going
And
to
the-
tell you right now, if bell bottoms ever come back around, you're
Oh,
never
no.
going to find me in a pair of bell bottoms.
and the
It's never
pockets
gonna
was like you know how like the pockets are on the side. You put it and go to put your stuff in your pocket. The pockets on the bell bottoms was right by the waistband. You know, it's cut up there, and so it was like hidden. You know, I'm not kidding you. The worst, I hated those pants. I hated wearing them because I just didn't like them because your stuff
yeah.
is like, you're squishing your fruit. It's just like
A little
not
dazed and
comfortable.
confused.
It's not comfortable.
Be a lot
No,
cooler if you did.
But you know what? When I went to Italy in 77, 78, baggy pants didn't come out over here. But in Italy, it did. And I bought like 3 pairs of pants, baggy pants.
Stocked up.
The most comfortable pair of pants ever. And I'm not kidding you. Loved them.
How about I'm gonna throw one out there for you. We're talking about pants. How about parachute pants? Anybody have any parachute pants?
Well,
We used
I
to.
That
thought
was
like skids weren't skids like parachute
They-
pants?
no,
No.
parachute pants had all the pockets on the side. They were made out of like they were swishy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say they were the first swishy
They
pants.
had
but
That came after the skids.
I don't know.
They came in the 80s.
I thought they came in the 80s. They did come in the 80s because Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was the one that first started wearing it.
It was in the 80s.
I know the name sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
guess
remember
I don't know
those.
exactly.
Yeah.
what
I had a
those
pair of
parachute
black
pants.
ones.
Yep, me too. Black ones, and I had a pair of dark gray ones.
Black. But the other, like you talk about suits, like this was in the 80s. And there was 2 clothing stores that was infamous in Youngstown area. Chess King and Merry-Go-Round were like
I remember
stuff
Marigold.
that came from California and New York that was clothes that you wore out in the clubs. I was going there every weekend buying an outfit. So this was during the wintertime, and it was for New Year's Eve. So back then, New Year's Eve was a big thing in the Youngstown area. You had to go buy your tickets, and it was huge. You know what I mean? Get a date, bring it. So you had to wear, nice suit. I went and saw this outfit. at merry-go-round. It was sharp. I fell in love with the plum. It was a plum, like plum wine color. The jacket was waist cut, and they had tulip. It was called tulip baggy pants. It had like 4 pleats in the front. It was real baggy up in the waist, but it narrowed down like to real tight to your ankles with a cuff.
Don Johnson.
And you wore, we used to call them cockroach killers. The pointiest toe shoes that you could put the point in the corner of a house. You know, like you put, we used to call them fence climbers too. That was like chain link fence. You put them in there. I got the shoes, burgundy plum to match. This suit was killer. Then I ended up getting a dark black shirt. Then I got the tie that matched with the suit and everything. It was killer. I mean, it was when I went out, and where we went was the Georgetown. No, the embassy. The embassy we went for the New Year's Eve. And when I walked in there, I thought I was the shit. And when I walked in there, you kind of notice people looking at you.
So you're
Were they looking at me because I look good, or they look at me like I look like an idiot?
Okay. So let me switch gears here. This kind of a good transition here. So you're walking in, you're thinking you're badass. You got your slicks on and all this. So what are some of the mannerisms and phrases that we used to fit into a room?
Oh, well, back then we used to say you're the shit. You were the shit. You look smooth, sharp. That was like, dressed to the nines. That was a big thing. Yeah. Dressed to the nines. I don't think you guys ever heard that.
Well, I've heard it. I definitely heard it. I just didn't use it.
Yeah,
that was more your era and kind of just hung around a little bit with us. But
we never said that. When I told you that one time for a drink, pour me a snort. That was a that was it. You ask your uncles, and they probably would say, "Yeah, we heard that."
Yeah,
snort.
Yeah. Well, I never heard that before. Pour me a snort. Never heard that. How about you, Kev? Any mannerisms or phrases that you use? I'm trying to think here for me, but you got anything?
I don't think. I mean, growing up where I grew up, there just really wasn't. I mean, just because I think it was so small town, laid back. We really didn't have a lot of, we did stupid stuff. I'm trying to think.
Well, we would call each other homie or some dumb.
Well, when we used to look at somebody that didn't look right, we used to tell them, "Yeah, look at that. He looks bus stop."
Yeah.
Bus stop. They're like you don't look good. Bus stop.
We called people nerds.
Or we say jamoke.
Yeah, I know that. I've heard that. I've heard that around here. I haven't heard it back home. We just really never had anything. I mean, what we probably did that I probably won't say on the air. So
yeah, but even like when I went out, even the girls. The girls back then, they took pride in the way they looked. And when you looked at a girl, you're seeing what you're getting or you're going after because they're dressed. You never seen girls wear pants. Back in the day, no pants. They either wore a skirt or a dress. And usually the tops would have been like low cut. They were revealing, they were showing their goods.
Right. So what moves did we make in front of girls? What was your patented move?
It was good. The first one, you go and go, "Hey, how you doing?" I was at the bar. This one bar, it was called the Office. It was going over the bridge over Poland on the left, and that's where I met my second wife. Well, I knew of her a long time ago, but this is the one we got together. So there was a lady that used to bartend. Her name was Mary Lou. And Mary Lou, if you see this, you know what I'm talking about. So I says, "Mary Lou," she goes, I know. So when the girls came by and I had my eye, she goes, I already know. So she went and sent up the drink. So, you played it. I didn't go right up up to the girl right away. I went up. I waited like a half hour, 20 minutes. And I approached her and go, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, and it's
Joey from France.
you know, and
you
I mean,
doing?
you know, that was the thing, you know. And I go, you know, if somebody looked familiar, that I remember when I with my wife, I haven't seen her for a long time. You know I met her. I said, you know, you look familiar to me, but I said, it's not a line here, so don't get me wrong. I said, but you look awfully familiar. Well, I said, what's your name? And she goes, Sarah. I go, oh, no, that don't work. That don't
What
work.
do you mean that
No,
don't work?
no, because see, that's the English version. You know, like I told you, my wife's Puerto Rican. Her name is Sarita. So when I got introduced to her by her brother, because I'm real good friends with her brother, he introduced me to her as Sarita. So when she said Sarah, I'm like, I said, what's your last name? She goes, Ocasio. I go, I said, yeah, I know who you are. I said, you got a brother named Frank? She goes, yeah. I said, but I said, he introduced me. That's. She goes, what do you mean? I says, we met. I told her when we were 15 years old. We met at a St. Valentine's dance, and I remember what she had on back then. I remember what she had on to the T. I described her. She goes, how do you remember that? I said, I do what I do.
I don't know. What about you, Kev? I didn't really have phrases or anything. I
I
just,
had a decent pickup line.
I don't know if I did or not. I
Mine
don't think
was,
I
hey,
did.
you want to go out for pizza and sex? and
Straight
and
to
she
the point.
she say no, and I said, what? You don't like pizza?
Yeah, that's
I mean, that
that's
straightforward.
more game than I had. I guess I was probably boring. Hey, you want to go out? No, okay. Next.
Yep. No, I mean,
Yeah, but see, back in my day, you had the easy pickup. It was, you know, you asked somebody to dance because back then we danced. So, you know, a lot of the girls, they went out, they liked to dance. And a lot of guys didn't know how to dance. You know, so if you knew how to dance and you were a good dresser, man, you had the killing of picking up girls. You didn't have no problem. Then while you're on a dance floor, you know, while you're dancing, you start talking, you know, hey, what's your name? You know, where you from? This and that. But that's what happened. You know, I
wasn't
mean,
a
back
dancer.
then. It
I
was
not a dancer.
Oh,
Still not a
I
dancer.
was, but I mean, I didn't usually go up and ask people to dance. I mean,
Slow dance, but
yeah.
not
but
getting out there and
oh no, man.
when I went up and talked to a girl, I usually asked her for a chew. And they usually, they usually had one. So that's. I mean, that's no joke. I've seen girls take bigger dips than I had. And
Oh,
that's
man.
pretty
if
impressive.
you ever
Oh,
needed
yeah.
a chew, you knew who to go to,
Yeah, but
and
you
all
know
of them were
what?
pretty decent
I'll
looking.
tell you one thing. Where you grew up, I'd be a little intimidated with some of them girls because I know those girls, man, they grew up on a farm and stuff.
Yep.
You ain't getting no dainty girl. You're getting a girl that's hardcore.
Right. No, I mean, a lot of them were that way. I mean, a lot of girls I dated grew up on a farm, and it was, I don't want to say it was intimidating because I mean, growing up in such a small community, everybody knew everybody else's business. So everybody knew who everybody was with and was going out with and everything else. And so you got to know not only the person you're dating, but the parents just as well, because they'd be the people that invite you in for dinner, sit down at the table. And this is 16, 17 years old. Usually you don't, do that until, you're 21, 22, 23, you start getting serious. But there's a lot of people I know back home. I mean, that are still together. I mean, they're married, that were dating when they were, 16, 17, graduated high school. They went off to college, found their way back. And I got several friends back home like that, which is, it's crazy. But, the different parts of the countries have different things. I was in culture shock when I came out here. Because when I sit down and I talk with my father-in-law, I've told you both this story. I learned so much more about what happened in Youngstown when you guys were growing
When
up.
did you get in the Youngstown?
I got in Youngstown in 2006. So 20 years I've been here. And it was when our son was first born. But it was just, it's interesting to listen to my father-in-law talk about how things worked down at the mill, how the mafia was just so different here.
Oh.
And my father-in-law attests to it to this day. He said, when the mafia was around, this town was a lot safer.
Oh,
And he said, when they found out that people were beating other people up and it wasn't them, that's when stuff goes on. My father-in-law still to this day, I'm sorry, Dad, if I'm talking about this, because he does watch this, is he was telling me about a time him and his best friend, were down at Golden Dawn.
yeah.
And they were just down there after a shift, said, let's go grab something to eat. Some guy, 2 booths down, was sitting there. 2 guys walked in, pop, shot the guy right there. My father-in-law looked at his buddy and he goes, just stay here. The cops are going to be here. Here's what you say. You didn't see anything. And the guy goes, well, we got to say something. And Dad goes, no, you say nothing. You say you didn't see anything. And it so happened that the guy was killed and the 2 guys that they tried to pin it on said it was self-defense and they walked. And it's crazy that, it's history here, right? And because Youngstown, the way I understand it, Youngstown was the halfway point between the Pittsburgh Mafia and the Cleveland Mafia, or the Detroit Mafia.
Yeah, but listen, I'm going to tell you something. Back in the day, you could have went to a different club every day of the week for 3 months and not hit the same place twice. That's how many clubs, bars, nightclubs was in Youngstown.
There's a lot of stuff running
Youngstown,
out of it.
Warren.
I've had all kinds of stuff running out of it.
Oh man,
Books.
this area, I used to go to Cleveland to go out. I used to go down to Pittsburgh to go out. But there was so much activity here. People from Pittsburgh and Cleveland was coming here because I remember meeting girls from Pittsburgh and Cleveland that were coming in from out of town, coming to Youngstown because they heard that how Youngstown was nice to go out.
Right.
I mean, there was places you went out, and you had a ball. You couldn't wait to go out. I went out of 7 days. I went out 6 days a week.
I never experienced, clubs, that culture until I actually got to Denver when I was my junior year in college, because obviously it's a big city, right? And I never experienced that. Even in my hometown, I think maybe we had 1 or 2 in Sioux Falls. All of them were just bars. So I never really got that experience until I got to Denver. And then, I started going out, and then of course we had, we always had house parties in college, but nothing like what you guys talk about here. And it's crazy. Like I said, 2 different sides of the country, and it's totally different, totally opposite.
So everything that we've said tonight so far, what were we trying to say about ourselves as we were growing up with all the clothing that we wore, the hairstyles, the sayings? What were we trying to say about ourselves?
It just was a big culture, it was like trend. 70s was one style, 80s was another, 90s was another. It was like a big trend.
So what statement were you trying to make about yourself? But what statement was Vito trying to make?
I look good. I look good. I was dressed up to the nines. I looked good, and I was ready to do damage. I enjoyed going out. I had the best time of my life. I would not regret not 1 iota of what I did when I was young going out, because I enjoyed myself. It was fun, dancing. That was the big thing too, dancing. You had to learn how to dance, and I love to dance. So it was fun. And you know what? Funny part is coming home, and I had phone numbers in my pocket, and I put it on the dresser, and all these phone numbers for call girls. It was. Listen, I'm older now, but when I was younger, I did damage. I was a nice looking dude. I'm not gonna say, I was ugly looking, but I held my own.
What are you trying to say about yourself, Joe?
I think it's where I really became an individual. I knew what I was in a small town. I was a big fish in a small pond, a small pond. But when I left home, and I did leave home, I left home, I was 14 hours away from home. I didn't have mom or dad. I had, a guy that I knew that was my roommate that I played ball against. I knew him, but I had to grow up pretty quick, so I think just learning individual trends and becoming an individual myself, learning who I really was with the upbringing I had, and that conscience, that voice in the back of your head, you that thought, going back to the earring story, right? Like I thought that, my first 2 years of college, I was like, is my dad still with me? Is he really trying to tell me this? And all your values start coming into a fold. And, it is a culture thing because trends are still happening now. I mean, you see stuff that is coming back that we're talking about now. It's coming back. And I guess to me, it's just the evolution of who you really are. And I think it molded the personality, your personality, because I didn't get the chance. I mean, like I told you guys before, when I left South Dakota, it was culture shock for me. I went into a town, 8,000 people, 8,300 people. 73% of that town was Hispanic. Never been involved in that culture. We had host families. So when I got there, it was adapting to their cultures, but still trying to stay within a frame, of what you're there for, which was to go to school and play ball. Yeah, I mean, it was about individual. I think who I was as an individual, how I felt as an individual is what I trended to.
For me, I wanted to be in that in crowd. I made it to the in crowd. I was with the popular groups, and I wanted to be a good athlete at the same time. And I think I put a lot of my concentration into finding my way into the in crowd. And did everything I could to be the best baseball player I could be when I was in high school. So that's where I focused a lot of my attention. Was I out there, trying to kill it with the ladies and all that stuff? Not really. I mean, I had a girlfriend in high school, and we ended up getting married after high school. But I didn't go out and do all the stuff that you did, and then you're coming in, you're coming into a culture shock coming to Youngstown. But yeah, I wanted to be in the in crowd, and I made it to the in crowd, and I was happy about that. And
but you were in crowd, like sports in crowd.
Well, here's the thing, I was on the in crowd with a couple different groups, because when I was younger and grew up in an apartment complex not too far from here, I'm not going to say the name of it, but it wasn't the nicest place in the world, and I wasn't the best person in the world. I had cops at the house quite a bit, and I wasn't a very good kid. So I was going down a path where I had to make a decision. Do I run with this crowd here, get high and do stupid shit and get in trouble, or do I stick with the athletic crowd because that's what I am? So I was able to stay with both. I had a good friendship with the people that were getting in trouble all the time, and then I had my friends that we're in athletics. So I kind of played both sets, and it worked for me. You know what I mean? It just worked for me. It was cool. So yeah, that was my goal, just being in the in crowd.
No, I mean, it was go out and have a ball. I mean, it was like a lot of people said I looked like, when I was younger, I looked like Al Pacino, like the young version Al Pacino, and I'm not kidding you. When I went out, I never had no problems picking up girls. I was like, but I enjoyed going out dancing. It was like a big thing. And all my friends, they were all the same way. Guys I went and hung out with is all Italians. It was just, like that group, and it was just that when we went out, we hung out together. We watched each other's backs, because back then you're getting a lot of fights. I mean, back then it was noted for fights, big time, because girls, when they went out, I mean, they were dressed gorgeous. I mean, you had these girls dressed up, and like I said, skirts and dresses. I mean, and you see what you're getting, and then guys are like, "Hey, man, I'd like to be with that girl right there," and and boom. And the other thing is, you drank. I mean, you're drinking.
Good transition. Good transition.
You're drinking. I mean, nightclubs, you're drinking drinks. I mean,
so
yeah.
What are we going to drink tonight? You guys have any idea what we're going to drink tonight?
I hope it's Cerveza Cinco de Mayo, man.
Oh,
Yeah, I got a little surprise tonight.
okay.
So I want to put something on the table. There's a brewery in Youngstown, Ohio, sitting inside a Harley-Davidson dealership. It's the only one in the entire country. It's called Biker Brew House.
Where's
It's
that?
inside. What's that?
Where's that?
It's inside the Harley-Davidson over
In Austintown.
in Austintown. You know where I text you Saturday? It said where I was. It shows you what I was drinking. That's where I was. Didn't I tell you that?
Is that where the one that's like where
Quicker
is it
Steak and Lube and Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, back in that area.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a Biker Brew House in there. It's the
I didn't know.
only brewery inside of a Harley Davidson in the entire country. It's over there on Davidson's what is it, Interstate Boulevard? Yeah. So a guy named Larry Wilson built it in 2017. He came from the building industry. He got into motorcycles and decided what was missing was craft beer on tap. So what he has over there now, he has 16 beers on tap, brewed right there on site. They have a full bar, they have a food truck, and you're drinking all of it surrounded by Harley Davidsons. The whole lineup is motorcycle themed. The flagship beer they have is called Ball Bearing Blonde, and Larry builds everything off of that base. He has blue balls with blueberry. He has melon balls with watermelon. And he has hot blonde with habanero. That goes down spicy and then sweet. Some of it's brewed with honey and maple syrup, made right from his family farm. Local ingredients, built in-house, right next to a street glide. But the one I really want to talk about tonight is Cotton Balls. It's a cotton candy flavored blonde ale. 4.7% alcohol. Has an IBU rating of 8.
Ooh. Kevin, you're on speed dial. I ain't calling it.
It's light, it's easy, and it tastes exactly like cotton candy. I know how that sounds, but it's a real craft beer, and it works. People who aren't sure about it, try it, and it converts them. Now, I had a few on Saturday, and when I drank it, I didn't know if I liked it at first or not. I'm like, this is the most unique taste I've ever tasted in a beer.
Yeah, that would kind of.
So it sounds like a gimmick, but it's not. It's a real craft beer. So with that said, I'll let you guys open up yours, and I'm very interested to hear what your initial thought of this is, because when I took a sip, I was like, I don't know if I could drink more than one of these.
I can smell it. You can smell it. Oh yeah, you can smell the cotton candy.
Let's do a cheers here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do cheers first. I didn't drink. Chendan.
Chendan. Cotton balls. Cotton candy.
Wow, it does taste.
Now,
like
you
cotton.
tell me, is that not the most unique beer? And the flavor doesn't go away. It lingers
So it's
Yeah.
on a palate.
and it stays there. It's crazy how good that is.
might be
different.
a pool drink for you.
Oh wow, my wife probably like this.
And you can go over to Harley Davidson, go inside Biker Brew House, and they have all these beers in there. You can buy it by a 6-pack. All the beers that I did mention and all the other ones that I didn't mention, they're all in there.
It tastes real good. Yeah, it tastes real good.
I like it.
different.
I mean, it's different. I mean, I can't say I've ever had any type of beer that tastes quite as good as this.
Tastes like ice cream.
I mean,
I get like an ice cream taste.
it's dessert in a can.
Yeah, I get like an ice cream taste.
I'm tasting more like a seltzer.
You get a seltzer out of this?
I get more of a seltzer taste out of it.
Yeah, like an ice cream taste. It's good.
Probably because it's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, like I
Good.
said, it's 4%,
And it's called cotton
7%.
balls.
It's called cotton balls. And it's brewed right there. It's
So
brewed
you
right
guys pick
inside
up
there.
some odd names. You had that dragon milk, and you got cotton balls.
Mm-hmm.
Barracudas was the staple jacket to wear in high school. That was it. And then you had the old fashioned gym bag. But I had to get it at Reardon's, and I saved money to buy it. It was the Hubbard Eagles gym bag. They had the eagle on in that, because I had the one from Franklin. It was like the military, like the
Duffel.
the old military. It looked like a purse. It looked like
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll end on that. Okay. We'll end on Vito's purse. We had Kevin having to wear a dress and a bra, and then we're gonna end with Vito's purse.
Oh man!
I never had a purse. I never had to wear a dress or a bra.
You led a sheltered life.
I will say things came out tonight that I did not think would come out tonight. But that's what makes this show great, in my opinion. So this show isn't about being right. It's about being honest. If this feels like a conversation you want to keep listening to, subscribe and stick around. This is Earned Air. Thanks for your time, because time is earned too.